Welcome back to the session, the transportation, the circulatory system. Today we are going to discuss about transportation in plants. There is a transport system in animals. Is there the transport system in plants? Well, yes, there is a transport system in plants. Plants also need water for the process of photosynthesis. The water is transported from root system to shoot system. So to transport, there is a specialized tissue in the plants. The specialized tissue, we call it as conducting tissue. The conducting tissue consists of xylem and phloem. You already learned about the conducting tissue in class 9, xylem and phloem. Xylem is a conductive tissue which conducts water and minerals, and phloem is a conductive tissue which conducts the food material in the plants. Both xylem and phloem together, we call it as vascular tissue. So plants also need water to transport and also need food material to transport it, and plants also need to remove some excess amount of water from the plants. For all these they need a transportation. Let us discuss how the transportation takes place in plants. Before going to it, this all happens by a process of natural phenomena like root pressure, transpiration, cohesive force, adhesive force. All these natural phenomena play a major role in conducting the water from root system to shoot system. Before going to that, first we discuss about absorption of water through root hairs. Plants absorb water with the help of roots, and the roots, they contain very small minute structures called root hairs. The root hairs are single celled in thickness, the very small, very microscopic single celled thickness, and these root hairs penetrate into the soil to absorb water. So plants absorb water to small hair-like, microscopic hair-like structures called root hairs, and root hairs are the extension of main roots, and these root hairs are single celled in thickness for the easy absorption. For any absorption, the cell should be in single cell, so that absorption can be facilitated very easily. So these root hairs will penetrate into the soil, and when you water the soil, the salts that are present in the soil get dissolved and a solution is formed. When you talk about the root hair cells, the root hair cells contain cell sap in their vacuoles. Cell sap is nothing but water, dissolved water and salts. We call it as cell sap, and this cell sap is stored in vacuole, and the concentration of the cell sap is more when you compare to the concentration of soil solution. See, when you water the soil, a solution is created in the soil, and this solution concentration is less compared to the concentration of cell sap in the roots. So there is a difference in the concentration. A natural phenomenon takes place. That natural phenomenon is called osmosis. What we call this phenomenon? Osmosis. Osmosis is nothing but the movement of solvent or water molecules from low concentration to higher concentration through semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Even this osmosis also we discussed in class 9. Osmosis takes place due to difference in their concentration. So due to this, what happened? The water will enter into the first cell of root hair. The water enters into the first cell of root hair. See, I already said that cell sap is more concentration compared to the soil solution. So what will happen when water enters into the cell sap of the cell? The concentration and the cell sap will become dilute due to the entry of water compared to the adjacent cell. Adjacent cell have more concentration and this cell has less concentration. So what will happen? Again the water will enter from the first cell into second cell. First cell into second cell. Now the second cell again become diluted due to the adding of water. So now what will happen? The water will again penetrates or enter into the third cell. Like that, the water enters from one cell to another adjacent cells. Finally the water enters into the xylem. The water enters into the root xylem, When the water enters into the root xylem, a pressure is exerted in the roots. A pressure is exerted in the roots. That exerted pressure we call it as root pressure. What is the root pressure? Pressure exerted by the inward movement of water through root hairs is called root pressure. Due to this root pressure, the water moves from root system to shoot system. So root pressure alone cannot help for the upward movement of water from root to the shoot or to the leaves. See for example, some trees are very tall, measuring about 100 meters. To supply water to that greater height, root pressure alone cannot support. So apart from this root pressure, see the sending of water from the root pressure to the upward to the leaves, we call it as ascent of sap. What we call it? Ascent of sap. For the ascent of sap, there are so many natural phenomena which help for the upward movement of water to the greater height. The first we already discussed about root pressure. The next phenomenon is transpiration. You are also heard about transpiration, learned about transpiration in class 6th I hope. Transpiration means evaporation of water molecules in the form of water vapor through the stomata of leaves is called transpiration. So the water that get transpirated form clouds and clouds precipitate and send it in the form of rain. So more the transpiration, more the rainfall. Already we discussed about transpiration also. Why the forests receive large amount of rainfall? Because more the trees, more the transpiration, more the rainfall. So now let us see. Okay, what will happen when transpiration takes place? The cells in the leaves will become shrink and a pressure is created. That pressure is called succussion pressure. Suction pressure. For example, that pressure is equal. See, when you drink a fruit juice with the help of straw, you suck the juice will enters. How the juice enters into your mouth? Because of a force called suction force or suction pressure. So when the water get evaporated, a pressure is created in the leaves, and this pressure we call it as suction pressure or transpiration pull, which pull the water from xylem vessels, the root xylem vessels to the leaf xylem vessels. And not only that, apart from this transpiration, a force is seen that is called cohesive force and adhesive force. Cohesive force means the force between water molecule and water molecule. Water molecule and water molecule has a greater affinity to attract each other. These water molecules attract each other and form a continuous column that is called cohesive force. Not only that, these water molecules have attraction towards the xylem vessel. Liquid attracting the solid, we call it as adhesive force. What we call it? Adhesive force. Cohesive force means force between two water molecules, we call it as cohesive force, and these water molecules get attached to the walls of xylem vessel, we call it as adhesive force. Adhesive force means the force that is seen between a liquid and a solid, we call it as adhesive force. Because of this adhesive and cohesive force, there is a continuous column of water molecules from root xylem to the stem xylem or leaf xylem. So all these phenomenon play a major role for the transportation of water from roots to shoots. Root pressure, transpiration, cohesive force, adhesive force. All these along with the osmosis, all these things play a major role for the transportation of water from the roots to leaves or shoot. Now let us discuss how the nutrients or food materials are transported. We already discussed about phloem transport food material. The plants prepare their own food material by a process called photosynthesis in the leaves. That food material must and should be transported to the various storage parts by a conducting tissue called phloem. So let us see whether the phloem is conducting food material. To know about the conduction of food in the phloem, in 1953, two scientists called Kennedy and Miller conducted experiment to prove that Phloem transport food material. Phloem transport food material. They use aphid. Aphid is a small fly or insects which feed on the food material present in the plants. And these aphids have a very long needle-like mouth part called proboscis. The mouth part of insects we call them as proboscis. Different insects have different types of mouth parts. Piercing mouth parts are seen in aphids. So with the help of this piercing proboscis, what the aphids will do, they pierce this proboscis into the phloem of trees and suck the food material, Now these two scientists, what they do, they have taken the aphid as experimental animal. When the animal was acting on feeding, or when the animal was feeding the food material present in the phloem, the scientists killed these insects and separated the rest of the body, leaving behind the proboscis. What they did, when this animal was acting on a feed, or when the animal was feeding, or when the insect was feeding, they killed the insect and they detached the body parts, leaving behind the proboscis. After that, due to the pressure inside the phloem, from this cut part of proboscis, small droplets or dews of water molecule or fluid is exerted out or executed out. They collect this fluid and they tested it. When they tested, they come to know that the fluid is a mixture of of sugars and amino acids. And we already know that phloem contains sieve tubes. Sieve tubes will transport food material. So this aphid has pierced its proboscis into the sieve tubes of phloem, and the fluid is executed out. Then that fluid is tested as sugars and amino acids. By this experiment, we can prove that phloem conducts food material. And not only this, you have seen that owls, voles, rabbits, squirrels scratching the bark of the tree. Why they scratch the bark of the tree? Vole is a rat-like organism which scratches the bark of the tree. And why they scratch? Because they scratch to collect the food material which is present in the phloem. While they scratching, they may damage the trees. So in the forest department and forest area, to protect the trees from these organisms, they grow some predators like foxes, owls, and which can control these voles and rabbits and squirrels, and thereby protecting the huge trees in the forest. Okay children, thank you. We'll meet in the next session and complete assignment which is going to be given you.